People don't like to hear this, but you got to wake up earlier. I'm serious. You have to start waking up earlier. It is a huge life hack. I don't care if you're not a morning person. No one's. Let me put you in on a little secret here, okay? There's not really such a thing as a morning person. I mean, there kind of is, but there kind of isn't. Okay, I understand. I like working in the mornings more than I like working the evenings. But here's what it's going to come down to: is do you like getting work done without distraction? Yes or no? Okay. I'm assuming most of you said, yes, I like getting work done without distractions. All right. I'm assuming most of you have families, right? Like kids, spouse. Maybe not. Maybe you're dreaming of that someday. But let's just put it bluntly. When during the day, your 24-hour period, when are you going to get the most stuff done without any distractions and also without feeling horrendously fatigued and drained? Probably the morning. That being said, I'm talking about the morning that is also you getting plenty of good sleep, waking up type of morning. Not I stayed up till midnight and then woke up at 4 or 5. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? Capiche? Wake up early. Make a system out of it. Okay? When you wake up early, number one, it grows discipline. It just creates a center of discipline that is unbelievable. If that's something you've struggled with for a long time, then I'm telling you right now, business ownership is going to be really difficult. You have to be disciplined. You have to hold yourself accountable because no one else is going to do it. Believe me. Wake up early. How early? As early as you can. Seriously, like as early as you can. I wake up, generally speaking, around 5 a.m. Could be a little earlier. Could be a little later sometimes, but generally speaking, 5 a.m. Okay, because I know that I can at least get an hour, maybe an hour and a half of work done before my girls wake up and I got to get their day started. It's painful, isn't it? They wake up at 6 a.m. still. What the heck? But they go to bed really early, so I can't complain. But that's how I've been doing it for years. I've been waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. for the better part of almost 10 years now. And I go to bed around 9:30-ish. Okay, sometimes 10 if I'm, really being wild. But I go to bed at a very reasonable time. It's a sacrifice I'm totally willing to make because I'm so much more effective. That's my system. Okay. Now create more system there. When I wake up early, I get the work done that has to be done. Non-negotiables, right? I can't push this off to the day after or whatever. It has to be done right this very second or my whole day is going to be ruined. Okay. So I write my daily email. That's really important to me right now. Super, super important, right? It's a way for me to market HRT University, which I love, right? That's why you guys are here. It's my way to educate and explore new ideas. That's very, very, very important to me. I have to get that done. People are relying on that information and I have to show up and do that. Okay. Usually I'm then working on stuff for like the clinic, right? Or is there any fires I have to put out right here, right now? And only I can do that. Any emails, any little thing that I have to get done right then and there. If I'm working on a course, for example, or I'm creating material, I get it done as early as possible. Okay. I'll chunk out my day, of course, but like if it's something I have to get done, it gets done in that time frame. So when I was a, highly, self employed like clinic owner, right? Early on, my early mornings were drafting either an email or like social media post, whatever it might be. I was focused on also creating networking opportunities. That was a huge thing for me when I first started out. And by the way, that gets into kind of the next part of this, which is Okay. So we create systems around uh, disciplines, waking up early, getting our most important tasks done as early as possible so that the rest of our day can be focused a little bit more on the things that need to be done, could take a little bit of leeway, whether it gets done today or maybe a little bit later today, maybe even pushing it off till tomorrow, even though I don't love doing that. Life happens. I understand that. And it's not going to destroy my universe if I have to do that. Does that make sense? So, um, I find that again, a lot of really great business owners and clinicians who have really great businesses are able to chunk away, I would say the first like 4 hours or so of the day towards highly, highly, highly appropriate tasks. Okay. We call that the signal stuff, like high signal. Okay. It's like a red flag waving in your face, like, yo, get this done. Please hurry up. Don't delay. Cool. The rest of your day then should be filled with the things that you have to do, but again, they're not going to kill you either way. So again, I would kind of structure my day like this. So I have to see patients. Cool. Can I ensure that I'm scheduling these patients in blocks of time? Right. So what I didn't love is like I see this patient at 4 p.m. and then this patient's at 1 p.m. and then this patient's at 8 a.m. Right. That was like really spread out. Sometimes that's just how that cookie crumbled. But if I could, I would try to get those patients all around the same time. Like, could I just do mornings today? Could I just try to get everybody stacked into the morning as best as possible? Or can I, do early morning and then like later afternoon. So now I might have 4 hours to myself just in between, say, 11 to 2 or something like that, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., where I can now get some other stuff done. That was huge for me. So again, like, how are you systematically setting up your schedule for success? Can you try to find ways to maximize the time during your day? And by the way, as a solar provider, when you're first starting out, you got a lot of freaking time. Like, I'm just being honest with you. You don't have a lot of shit going on. So fill that time up. Please fill that time up. This gets into so let's go back, way back to intensity and volume here for a second. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about systems. Again, not sexy systems, like just really good old fashioned basic systems, like an organized schedule and waking up early and setting your day up for success systems. Okay. Can you use AI tools and shit for that? Maybe. I don't know. You probably don't need to. Just focus on getting that shit done. Okay. But let's now focus again on volume and intensity. What I find a lot of providers doing is volume. And I think they do it the wrong way. Okay, so let me explain that. I find a lot of providers will successfully do a social media post or story every day. Fantastic. That's a volume thing. Okay, so you're doing something every day. And again, especially like Instagram stories or Facebook Reels or whatever, that kind of shit. Really low return on investment at the end of the day, like as a whole. Okay, like I don't know many clinicians who are like, I built my entire business off of Instagram stories. It's just not really a thing. You can garner some attention, and of course, like that's a kind of a top of funnel thing. But at the end of the day, it's not the best way to spend your time. If you're spending all your time doing something like that, it would behoove you to kind of get away from that a little bit. Okay. So let's focus more on intensity here for a second. Volume is kind of easy a lot of times, right? So let's, again, a classic example. Let's take the weight room. It would be quote unquote easier for me physically to lift a 15-pound dumbbell. It's pretty light, right? Especially if you're a big, strong guy like me. It's a pretty light dumbbell. It's not going to break the bank. I could probably hit, 10s of 20s of reps kind of thing before my arm gets really tired doing a bicep curl. That's kind of the easy route. But it freaking takes me forever. And I really hate forever. I want to get as much done as quickly as possible with the greatest return on investment. So I have to kick the intensity up. So I have to move to, twice as much. Let's say a 30-pound dumbbell. Now I can do 10 reps, high intensity, get a ton of stimulation from that, from a growth perspective and a strength perspective, metabolic perspective, in half the amount of time, maybe a quarter of the amount of time. That's pretty sweet. I love shit like that. You should too. You should always be looking for ways in which you can increase the intensity, which allows me to lower the volume, but maximize the return. Am I making sense here? A lot of you are just like me in terms of you're dorky and you like exercise and diet, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. I always think this is the best analogy possible. When it comes to marketing, for example, for your clinic, what systems have you created around that? And have you ensured that those systems are airtight in the sense that it provides a great return on investment? Meaning typically that you've got really good intensity and not a ton of volume. Now, here's something I want to be very clear about. The volume is still very, very necessary. When you're first starting out, the volume is still one of the key metrics to success. But how do you do that without diluting the volume? Okay, so again, let me be very clear here. When I'm talking about volume, let's take networking, for example. The amount of people I've asked, here's one of the best possible examples. I love this example because, again, it's something that I personally, physically experienced in my own business that made Apollo Health Optimization, my clinic, super freaking successful, way more successful than any other clinics around me. Okay. It was my tenacity to connect and network with the right people. And that was a volume game. I might send out, I would send out in the height of it, I would send out maybe 20 to 50 cold emails a day. I'm not kidding. I know you think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding at all. Early on. Now, I didn't do that every day for like a year. That would be insane. There weren't even that many businesses. I did that for maybe a month or two. And maybe those numbers dropped as time went on. But what I'm trying to get at here is I sent a lot of freaking emails, like a lot. I would say 80% of them probably went straight to spam or someone's trash. Click, drag. I would say the other, 10% were like, hey, yeah, maybe, yeah, we'll catch up. I don't know. We'll see. And nothing ever happened. And the last 10% was usually like, hey, sure, sounds good. Let's connect. That 10%, maybe only 5% actually went through with it. And then maybe only 2% of that last 5% were the ones who actually referred people to me, patients to me. That's all I needed. At the end of the day, that's all I needed to get my business to, 7 figures rather quickly. So what I'm getting at here is volume is important. And if you are shy about volume, if you're shy in general, again, business is not going to be easy for you. It's just not. And I don't, you know me. Okay. And I know people. And I can tell you that the business owners that I meet who don't understand this concept, they struggle a lot.